Hey, what's good, everyone? Local Iceman here. Sitting here Tuesday morning, about 5 days after I got the system going. I did shoot some videos over the weekend, kind of coming in, checking the system, as well as one on Monday. But the ones over the weekend, I had a couple videos when I was trying to transfer them over that didn't really make it over. I must have deleted them accidentally, or some of them really didn't make the transfer process, let's say. So I'm going to start over from scratch right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video here of kind of what happened over the weekend, which is really nothing much happened over the weekend. So that's why I wasn't really concerned that I lost some of the videos. But I'm going to throw some numbers at you, kind of show you guys how the concrete cooled down over the weekend. Then we'll go over some Monday details, me scrolling everything together. I just kind of got everything together, tied some loose ends up, getting ready to spray some water today, Tuesday. Then we'll go right at it. I'll just do a video today of the weekend numbers and setting things up. I'm going to talk about the spray bar kind of made there. I kind of let you guys laugh at that for a couple minutes. Then we'll end it. Then we'll kind of start a new video of me putting the ice in, or us putting the ice in. I got some people showing up here at 8:30. We'll start laying some water. The goal today is really just to spray some initial layers of water down, get the paint down, seal the paint with some water, and hopefully if we have time, we could get the goal line, the blue line, and the red lines, all 5 of them down, and spray some water over that, and call it good, and come back tomorrow and do the circles and the hash marks and the creases. So I did come in Saturday afternoon, around noon. I went out to the soccer park to do some mowing and watering. Then I stopped by here around noon to check on things. And things were going well. The concrete was cooling down. Let me get my numbers right here. I wrote some numbers down for us to discuss here. So Friday, when we turned the compressors on, the Brimer churn was at 67, as well as the floor temp was like, 72, 73, maybe even as high as 78. So everything was going good. We left Friday, came back Saturday afternoon, and the temperature actually dropped quite a bit. The concrete was at, I think, about 48 degrees in the afternoon, but the head temperature and the brine churn temperature was around 37 degrees. However, the head temperature was about 250, and that was really high. Anything over 200 is really, really high for at least our system. Our discharge temperature was at 213, suction's at 48, which is on the high end, but you expect that because the Freon is still kind of, the whole system is still trying to cool down. I didn't really want to try to explain that. And the condenser water temp, the water was outside, was at 85 degrees. So let's talk about that head temperature, 250 degree number, because that was really, really hot. So calling Vondi on the phone. He was going to meet me down here, but say, you're busy today, man. I'll talk about Vondi here in a minute. So we just talked on the phone. He told me what I needed to do was basically open the hot water. Since we have a heat recovery system, and I'll throw a video in here if I didn't delete that, of showing me going back and forth between the heat recovery, the heat exchanger, and the storage tank. Now, water is circulating between those things back and forth, but since there's nothing being pulled out of the system, that water was getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it prevents a hazard of it getting really hot. Like usually we shut the system down and we keep that water, how do I say this? That has to be running anytime the system's running, because if, we really don't need it, but if it's shut down and the system's running, that heat exchanger can become a steam bomb. So having that thing really hot with hot water, this is not really a good idea. So basically what happened is I stuck the Zamboni hose outside the door, I shoved it down a pipe, and I cracked the hot water, so about 10 gallons per minute was leaking out of that hot water, out of the Zamboni water. And I turned off the hot water heater so that the water coming in there wasn't being heated. So water was coming out of the heat exchanger system outside, dipping outside. And one thing I get, water is much cheaper than electricity. So that's what the reasoning was, is we're going to be dumping water outside to help cool the system down, because as water's being poured out of the heat exchanger system, fresh water's being entered into the system. And when fresh water's entered the system, it's cooler, and it's entering that heat exchanger system. It's cooling off the gas before it goes out to the condenser outside. So it made a big difference. Within 30 minutes, the head temperature dropped down. Let me get my numbers here. Head temperature dropped down to 175, discharge temp to 189. Suction went down to 44, 48. That wasn't really the critical number. The critical numbers were the head temperature and the discharge temperature, and as well as the water temperature of the cooling tower went from 85 down to 83. So that was really good. So we left that going overnight. I came in Sunday morning, Sunday morning, everything was good. Like the discharge temp was 160. The head temperature was 160. Discharge temp was 187. Suction 32. So that was dropping even down further. That was great. Hot water, the condenser water in the cooling tower, 82 degrees. Still a little warm, but it's doing work, so that's good. Nothing too extravagant. However, the slab itself was at 25 degrees Sunday. So 2 days after turning the system on, the slab's at 25 degrees, and the brine return temperature was at 20 degrees. So that was Sunday. So everything's going great. Vondi actually came down here and met me Sunday. We left 2 compressors going Saturday. Since it was going really hot, and again, this concrete was as hot as it has ever been, being offline for 4 months. So we just kept 2 compressors going. Vondi actually met me here. Mark Vondichuk, I'm gonna give him a shot right there. Rain Country Refrigeration, 360-671-9165. What owner is gonna come down to an ice rink or any kind of customer on a Sunday, free of charge, okay? Free of charge. This guy, he shows up free of charge. We get bills for Dakota and Alan, his workers. Vondi has never sent us a bill in my 20 years for his own personal time down here. And that's outstanding. Dakota played hockey here. His daughter skated here. He hasn't been around a lot lately because Dakota doesn't play as much, but he really does care about the place. He was down here Friday, as you saw, helping me out. He was helping a buddy out, moving some concrete on Saturday. It's like, I don't want you to get you down here. There's no need for you to come down here unless you really want to come down here. But he did come down here Sunday. We met down here. We talked. We bullshitted. We checked the system out. Everything was going good. And he left us. We turned the 3rd compressor on Sunday, but he turned around and came back right away and said, hey, it's going to be really warm today. If you're going to come back tonight, why don't you just turn off the compressor now and we'll turn it back on tonight. Or if you're not coming back tonight, we'll turn it on in the morning. So, and I thought that was a good call. Reason being, we're trying to cool the system down slower. And one side note, I should say, when I was out talking to him, because he kind of drove back around, I saw him drive up, so I walked outside. One of the compressors, the 3rd one that we did turn on Sunday, cycled off when I was out there. Because when I walked back in, it cycled back on, and it cycled off. And even this morning on Tuesday, I came in, there was only 1 compressor going, and there's only two were turned on. So I could have turned the 3rd one on. It just would have cooled down the system a little bit faster. And we really, we were on pace to make ice for today, so there's no reason to turn on that 3rd compressor. Even Monday, I was like, I could turn it on, but there's really no point. So from Monday to right now, 22 degrees was the concrete. Right now, we're at 20 degrees. Return temperature was about 20 degrees. Now we're down to 19. And actually the pump has slowed down. It's not cycled down, but it's slowed down. It's backed off. We're down to 33%. There's only 1 compressor going. The suction was down around, I think it was 28 or something. I kind of forget offhand. Discharge temp, butter, condenser water temp, good. The head pressure, good. So we're going to be making ice today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that 3rd compressor on now, and we're not going to be laying tons and tons of water right now. So I'll turn that 3rd compressor on, and that one stays on. And we'll get the ice built up today. And when we start laying water tomorrow, I'll turn that 4th compressor on, or just consult with Vondi to make sure we need that 4th compressor, because they'll cycle off if they're not needed. So as we start laying more and more water, is the next big load is going to be coming as we build the ice up. The first big load was getting the concrete down to temperature. The next one is going to be getting the ice put in and moving the heat from the water, so to say. I have the creases here. I'm going to adjust this here in a minute. I brought them out here just to get them kind of cold. I'll adjust this when I do my video on kind of getting things set up. I didn't do really a whole lot of things for setup. I was kind of busy with other things at the park yesterday. Well, I don't know if I can add too much more to at least this video and this conversation as far as the numbers and cooling the system out over the weekend. Everything went good, and it's kind of fine that I kind of lost some of the video because it was just a bunch of me babbling over numbers. It was nothing too exciting. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. As always, hope you learned something. And like the local ice man says, stay cool.